Hey everybody, welcome to the PM&A podcast.
What is going on?
Number 28. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Are we sure it's 28 this time?
Yes, yeah, we know it's 28.
29?
Guys, thanks for listening. PM&A podcast. This episode is brought to you by, as always Bearded Lifestyle. They want you to take care of your beard, man. They want you to get the sweet beard grooming products that they have that's formulated with natural, clean, certified ingredients. They do the beard wax. They do the beard oil, but most importantly, the beard cream. Get on the beard cream wagon. It's awesome. Always Bearded will take care of your beard, and they want you to know they can.
Smells nice, too.
Yeah, it always smells nice. We're also brought to you by a local company from Kitchener, Waterloo. It's called Friends with Pets. Just, they're an alternative to kennels. Kennels are kind of scary. Scary for you and also your pet, but they want you to basically know that if you want a pet sitting company to take care of your pet, they're gonna help you out. They do.
Hey, Jer, do you trust your neighbors?
My one neighbor I do.
Your one neighbor. The other neighbors, would you just throw your dog in their backyard?
Not to someone who I don't think that can take care of them, but someone I think that can is Emily from Friends with Pets. She does Kitchener Waterloo. She does the pet sitting. It's in your home or her home. Yeah. She does morning walks. She can do afternoon walks. She helps socialize your pet if you have to go to work.
Would she walk you and the dog?
No,
or just
the pet. Sorry, okay. not you. It's a great service. Emily is also part of the National Service Dog Association. She's great with dogs, and she's here to help you out. So her Instagram is friendswithpets_. Her name's Emily. We will post about it, and if you have any questions, you can contact us on the Instagram. But she's just a great person, and she wants to help you out with your pet. And that's it.
Right on. All right. Well, today we have Dylan Burk. He is a country artist. I actually met him. I think it was last weekend. We ran into him. Dylan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Right on. So it was kind of funny. We went to go see your concert. We got invited by, so here we go. So it is my mother-in-law's cousin's. You are my mother-in-law's cousin's nephew.
Yeah.
Which makes us absolutely nothing, but
no.
That's awesome.
But
somehow down the line we're related.
Yeah.
Maybe not blood.
Somebody high five somebody we knew, and that was about it. But
that's the best way to meet somebody, with a high five.
They were just like, no, there's going to be a country concert for this guy Dylan. Would you guys be interested in coming? And they grabbed my phone and they looked you up on Google, and I actually found you on iTunes, and I downloaded your song that you have on iTunes. What was that song again you have there?
Looking like that.
Looking like that.
Yeah, my debut single. Yep.
Man, that's an awesome single. I've been listening to that all week. So Ernie let me know about you, and I was like, I went on Spotify, which is also where we're on Spotify. But you're on Spotify too. That's a great track, man. That's awesome. It's a great song.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. That was actually done in Nashville.
Whoa.
So actually I got an email actually, and there were some song pitches. I actually didn't write that one. Actually, that was written by a guy named Patrick Jason Matthews, who's a country writing legend in Nashville, and he actually wrote songs for Luke Bryan and Billy Currington, and so like a lot of big names. And when this song came across, it was one of those songs that just right away I just loved it.
It's a great song.
I was like, I'm like, I could do this one. And it was nice because I feel like I have that kind of like a little bit of a different raspiness to me. So it was a really good opportunity to kind of show people how powerful that side of my voice is. So yeah, it's one of my favorites. And I actually have done a couple songs, but this one definitely wanted to be the first one to be released because it's one of my favorites off of it. So
man.
So the funny thing is, Jeremy, he was like, so who is this guy? I was like, well, kind of a big deal, I said, and I don't want to, and I didn't want to tell him because and what year. I'm not gonna get into it just yet, but to what that concert was for that we went to last weekend there, like what it was funding for you. I wanted to leave it as a surprise. We'll build up to that just to surprise him, but
don't you're surprised? Not just
because I didn't want to tell him who it was.
You're not just surprising me, you're surprising all our listeners.
I'm
not a huge country music fan, but I have a little bit of a background. But let's get into you first. What got you started doing country music?
You know what? I always listened to it growing up. Country wasn't even really a popular thing in my school either. So I actually was born in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh man!
So yeah, so that was a big, that was I guess a big thing. My dad actually played pro hockey there. My mom was actually born in Michigan. So when he was across the border playing hockey, he met my mom, and then they moved to Knoxville where my dad played hockey, and then once he was finished, we moved back. But so I always think that kind of me being born in Knoxville, I always had that kind of bragging rate of.
Yeah, you're
the
there.
Only kid in the class being from the U.S. and the only kid who listens to country music.
So you say your dad played hockey. Did he play for the NHL or was it like AHL?
Yeah, so he played like preseason and the NHL for Vancouver and Hartford, and then he played in Germany for about 2 years. He played for the Kingston Frontenacs, the Oshawa Generals, and so he was quite the hockey player.
Yeah, sounds like it. That's not messing around. That's from Canada. That's like, whoa, that's a big deal from playing hockey. So
did you say that they weren't big country down there?
No.
No.
I was gonna say
no.
Geez.
I mean, like in my classroom, being the only American kid, I was. Yeah, so I was the only one that listened to country music, and when I were to put on Merle Haggard, everybody would be like, "What's this? This isn't Snoop Dogg or Eminem."
So you were born in the States, but you grew up in Canada. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I actually moved. I moved here when I was about 2 years old, and so it's nice I got that dual citizenship, especially in this industry. It's great to have. It's easy to get across the border.
Yeah, save on the taxes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there is a lot of country artists who are struggling right now to go across there because they don't have the citizenship. So I am really fortunate to have that on my side there.
So you grew up. You were born in Nashville, Tennessee, which is rad. And then you, what part of Ontario did you say you grew up in? Sorry.
Milton.
Milton.
So it's so it's one of the fastest growing cities in Ontario.
Yeah.
So it's a fun little fact.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, they got a big casino, and they got a big like racetrack casino.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, so that's actually considered Campbellville. That's just outside of Milton. Maybe,
is it?
Maybe 10 minutes, not even, but yeah, it's pretty close.
So you grew up in Ontario, but you were listening to country music as a kid, and that was always influential.
Oh yeah, especially like I said, my mom was actually born in Michigan, so we would always go in the States. Country music is a really big thing in Canada too. It's a huge thing, but now, and all the car rides, just going to Michigan, country music was the thing that my parents played. So it was definitely something that just stuck to me, and I found it a lot more meaningful than a lot of other music too. I do like various music, but definitely a lot more meaningful, and I just love it. It's country music.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference now though between country back then and country now though.
Yeah, like what
100%.
So you mentioned someone before that you were listening to, but what country artists were you listening to back when you were a kid? Like what
anything. Like I used to go in and take my dad's CDs of Merle Haggard, and he had some Conway Twitty and stuff like that. But around that era, like Kenny Chesney was bigger and stuff like that, Toby Keith. So I used to listen to a lot of them too, where even I find that era of music had its own kind of sound as new country does today, where it's a little bit more pop now.
Yeah, 100%.
But you get your nice mixes now. It's nice. You have your rock country, you have your pop country, you have your pop rock country.
Really?
Together, where it's kind of like that rock pop together. And look at the one gentleman in the U.S. Cole Ford. He's rap country. So there's all different types now. Yeah,
man, I'm out of the loop.
I like my favorite artist right now is Luke Combs, because he kind of does a little everything, which was kind of cool that you touched one of his songs there on the when we were at the
did you
concert.
Cover it? You did cover?
Covered it. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, that song is actually so I actually got accepted into Boots and Hearts this year, and because of that song. I actually got into Boots and Hearts as one of the emerging showcase artists, which really boosted up my career that much more.
Wow.
So I guess I owe one to Luke for that one.
So who is headlining Boots and Hearts?
This year was Miranda Lambert, and it was Jason Aldean was the main headliner.
Oh,
and
man.
they have so many acts throughout the weekend. I was actually one of the emerging artists, which means me and seven other contestants went up against each other and battled for the chance to become crowned the next Boots and Hearts winner. And unfortunately, I didn't win, but it was great. It was great exposure. I mean, I was on ET Canada because of it.
Oh my gosh!
So a lot of people saw it. They actually came to my hometown and interviewed me. So,
buddy,
I had the whole hometown going nuts. Yeah,
so you got the heat on you. You got like the Eye of Sauron looking at you right now. Sorry, I'm a nerd.
Yeah,
sorry,
I am what?
Actually,
sorry, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I have Sauron.
Whatever the fuck it is, he's got like the heat on him right now, man. That's awesome.
I have Sauron.
It's what?
Yeah, and you know what? It was actually good. But it was funny because I just got through releasing my debut single about a month before that. And it was funny because about a month previous, I went on to the Global Morning Show, and that's like Cheryl Hickey's on and Jennifer Valentine, that channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to go down and perform my debut single looking like that. And it was funny because it wasn't actually going to air that day. So a month goes by, and finally they decided to email me, and they said, "Oh, we're going to be airing you this date." And it was funny because it was the exact same day that ET was airing my episode. So I was on the Global Morning Show performing on the morning on the same day, and then I was on ET at night during the same day. So it was, but everybody thinks because I got into Boots and Hearts, that's why I was on the Global Morning Show, but it had nothing to do with that at the time.
What was that interview process like when you were on those shows? Did it seem very like they were?
Was it agenda based?
Yeah.
Was just having fun?
Yeah, just kind of having fun. They're very relaxed, especially on ET. They were fantastic.
Nice.
It was, and one big thing, no matter what I do, I always get butterflies in my stomach. I always get super nervous.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I always overthink everything, and then once I actually get there, I go, okay, this isn't that bad. This is pretty good. It's not as scary as I thought it was going to be. Very, very easy process, and very good. Just made me feel super comfortable. And then actually at Boots and Hearts, I had to go and do a couple other interviews. And actually beforehand, I actually had a person who basically explained to me what to do, like not move your hands so much, don't say too much. So it was just a lot of key points just to make sure what I do and do not do.
So you look good on TV, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And,
don't move around. You'll wipe the makeup.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not one big for makeup, but it was funny because I had a really bad sunglass tan line.
Oh yeah.
And so I was really, and then all of a sudden the makeup person came in, and I was like, okay. I'm like, do you do makeup for guys? She goes, yeah, every day I do. I'm like, okay, can you help me? She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I got the sunglass tan line. She goes, okay, come in with me and I'll fix it. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, you couldn't even tell. So I was really impressed.
Man, so is this your first podcast?
Yeah, very first podcast.
Oh, we're just hitting the ground floor running. This is awesome.
Nice.
This is like
never.
Don't forget us when you get huge, man.
No. Yeah, I hear that like every
I bet
day
you
now.
do. I bet you do. Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah, and I'm like, you guys are jinxing it.
No. You know when you hear music, like, I don't know. I mean, you can hear music and you can hear people's natural talent. Like, you got a natural talent, man. And, like, I watched some of your videos.
Oh, thank you so much.
I was looking on your Instagram, and I was just like, I think, where you at? Was it Sheridan College you were just at? Or?
Oh, yeah. So I was actually at Fanshawe.
Fanshawe.
Yeah, Fanshawe last night.
Yeah.
That was actually a super big deal for me because I got the message on Friday. This year, just in total, has been like just insane for everything. I actually got a message that's asked me if I wanted to open up for Jade Eagleson, and Jade is like one of my favorite Canadian country singers. And all of a sudden, I saw that, and I'm just like, okay, this person's messing with me.
Yeah.
And then I messaged back, and we set it up, and I got to open for him last night, and Fanshawe was just incredible. I mean, even the students and just the people that came out, they were such a good time. Everybody was singing along. The energy just in the room by itself was insane. And I just drove home the entire time with a huge smile on my face, especially Jade himself. Like, that's one big thing that, especially as an artist, staying humble. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what Jade was. He was the nicest guy. I met him for the first time, and he was just, giving me such respect back, and it was just amazing to see that. So it was just an honor to meet him. And then actually I went over, I looked at my Instagram, and he followed me back. So I was super excited about that too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rad.
So I was pretty pumped on that.
Man,
That's gotta feel good. Number one, that you got to do that, but number two, even better that he's a down to earth guy, even after like knowing him and like following him for that long, to find out that he's actually a nice guy too, right?
Man,
Yeah,
awesome.
exactly. So it's it was a real honor to be able to do that with him.
So you said that you got a little butterflied when you were when you were doing the interview? Were you saying, or you get that when you before you get up on stage?
It's every time. Because you know what? There's so much to, especially up on stage. There's just so much you have your lyrics that you got to remember. You got your stage presence. You know, it's just anything can go wrong at any time. Especially if you're like, for instance, yesterday I was during the show. I get up on stage, and 30 seconds into my very first song, the microphone stopped. But because I accidentally pulled on my in-ear monitor, which had a headset connected into it, it unplugged it, so I couldn't even tell that I wasn't singing into the mic. And nobody could hear anything. And then all of a sudden I look over at my guitar player, and I see him start pointing at the mic. So I ran over, grabbed his, and started using it. But there's just... It gets me so nervous because of that fact. But once I get out there and I'm a good maybe 5 to 10 minutes into my set, I'm fine. It all goes away, and I don't want to get off stage.
Well, I was gonna say, because that show that I went to last weekend there, I was actually saying to Danielle that this obviously isn't his first rodeo. I said, because you seemed really, really comfortable on that stage. Like, it was, you kind of owned it when you were up there. It was a lot of fun to watch.
No, and I was kind of thrown into I would say bigger situations. Like there's this one band called the James Barker Band, and they're huge in Canadian.
Did you say James Barker Band?
Yep, James Barker Band.
Jesus, wow!
And I got to, that was my first like really big show, and I wasn't even really doing music for that long at that time.
Are these all are these all indoor or outdoor events?
It's like all different ones. Like that one was an outdoor event. Yeah, it was just great. Like, I mean, it was a lot of pressure because they had Eric Etheridge there, they had Leah Daniels there, more artists that I look up to. So especially being the new artist on the block, and not really even playing for that long, and going out there and having to do what I did. It was after that performance I went, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. This was just incredible.
Man. So, sorry, so you were in, when did you really start singing, did you say, sorry? Like, was it in high school, or?
It was in high school, and I wasn't, and my teacher when I was in high school told me I wasn't any good at singing.
Yeah, I had a girl. I had a girlfriend tell me that when I was in like high school too. But I'm not as good as a singer.
Tell you what,
I'm a terrible singer.
Yeah, she might not have been wrong.
Yeah, she wasn't wrong.
No. No.
Sorry, man.
And you know what? I truly believe that everybody, even my wife, she says it all the time. She goes, I'm not a good singer. I go, everybody can sing. I feel it's just they have to find their sound, because if I showed you videos from 6 years ago of me singing, you would have. It's completely night and day. I had to find my sound, and how I really started taking it seriously was I was actually, when me and my wife first started dating, I was used to sing to her. She goes, you're pretty good. You should start, trying to pursue it if you really want to do it. So I started out just doing karaoke competitions.
What?
And I couldn't even make it through the first round. And you had about 3 chances to actually get through, and I couldn't get through. It was because there was a whole bunch of people up there that have been singing for so many years. Mm-hmm. And I was just, this new guy at singing. So I really had to find my voice, and it was hard to handle that I ended up singing. And once I sang that song, I found out how it best suits me. Mm-hmm. And that's what made me go, okay. And everybody loved it. I got a great reaction, and I ended up getting through on the karaoke. So, and after that, I started pursuing it more as a career.
But I bet you those guys aren't singing in Boots and Hearts to have for free.
But that's the other thing too, though. They're singing songs that were already written. So as long as they sing it close to how the other guy did it, then they're gonna get claps. And what did you do, Jared? Raining Men or what?
Oh my God! Listen, I sing folk. Okay, I sing folk music.
Oh, I've heard the music you sing. It's like I jumped off a bridge.
All right, let's move on. Jerk.
So what was your first gig then? Did you say, sorry?
Well, actually, that James Barker Band one was like my first big one. But actually, my very first gig I actually ever had was I opened for a guy named Eddie Eastman, and he was a country singer who was big back in I want to say the '80s, and he wrote a song called Highway 401.
Oh,
and he came up to me and he saw this new kid. And he said to me, he goes, "You look so nervous. It looks like you could crap through a screen door, not his strength."
Probably be a bigger song now.
And I just said to him, I go, do you have any pointers? And I just really took it in. And I went out there. I want to say I sang maybe 4 or 5 songs, and it went good. It was my very first show ever. Yeah, like in front of people, and it was such an experience, and it was great.
And were they cover songs that you did, or did you have anything that you had written down?
They were actually all cover songs. And actually there was one song that was a pitch song to me, but we never actually ended up getting to record the song. But it was a song at the time that was pitched to me. It was just absolutely terrible song. It was, but at the time starting out, I went, wow, this is like a great song. At one part, it said like cotton candy kisses falling out of the sky, and I went, "Wow, this is a hit song." Wow. I make it on the radio.
Serious lyrics.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, it was just absolutely terrible. So I'm glad nobody can find that one anymore.
Like I know for me, when I'm like feeling like, I don't know, not to say that I'm feeling like down or anything, but I know that if I listen to some country music, it's always positive. Like most country music, would you agree? Like it's just mostly positive, upbeat, like have some fun, like that kind of like that kind of like, yeah.
Do you want to hear something?
For sure.
Go ahead, man. Don't let Ernie interrupt you.
No. Well, you know what it is? It's that is so true. Especially a good country song that's uplifting, and also those times where you can listen to a country song and it's just one big thing is a country song can make you cry too, and it's just it's great. Because it has so many different types of emotions. It's good for partying. It's good for an uplifting scene, and it's also good for just that nice, soft. If you want to just take it down a little bit and just enjoy some love music, it works so many different ways.
Yeah, like I know for me, like a couple years ago, I went through like a kind of like a rough spot where I was just having trouble like getting motivated and like just like my day-to-day stuff, and I would always put on that song "Wagon Wheel" by Darius Rucker. And I was like,
one of my favorite artists.
So like, that kind of music always put me in such a good mood. And so, but I know growing up, Ernie and I had a grandfather who was really into country music. He would listen to like Stompin' Tom, Johnny Cash, and he would just like those like maybe a little bit of Garth Brooks. But he always had that playing in his truck.
Rita McNeil.
Yeah, he always played like that old time music, and that always represented such like a positive vibe for me. And even to this day, I'm like, country music is so positive. Like it's like you said.
And you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you have, man.
Well, you know what? It's even with Darius Rucker, that one song by Darius Rucker, "Wagon Wheel." I just remember even in high school when I first got my license, my mom was going into the States, and I told her, I want you to pick me up a Darius Rucker CD, because Darius Rucker actually switched over from Hootie and the Blowfish to become a country singer. And that was a big thing of just, I had Darius playing in my truck or my car all the time. And he was one of the biggest influences for me, and he's one of my favorite artists today. And just an incredible singer, and especially incredible guy. And that was a huge part of why I want to get into country, because I just heard him sing and all the emotion he put into his songs, and I go, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing. I want to put emotion into my song. I want to give people a really good time, but I also want to give people that nice soft side too.
Yeah, man.
Do you think that he's blown up more now when he turned into when he went from Hootie to Darius? Do you think? I think he has.
Wait a minute.
Oh, for sure. And you know what? He was big in Hootie, but like country, I mean, I just feel like that's who he is.
Hang on.
He's a
you don't know
country boy.
Wait a minute.
100%.
Darius Rucker was in Hootie and the Blowfish?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Where the hell have you been?
I didn't know that. Was he one of the lead singers?
Yeah, he was the black guy singer that was singing on it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's he's great. I listened to him all the way back when he played in Hootie and the Blowfish too, and then right when he switched over to country, I'm like,
man,
you gotta be my favorite now.
Come on, I only want to be with you.
Listen, so I don't listen. Like I'm not genre is like country is not like my top genre. It's like, you know.
It's funny. It's funny that you say though that music makes emotion. There is a song right now by Luke Combs that I can't get all the way through. I get teary eyed.
You know, you baby.
Yeah, I do. And even my daughter, I played it for her because it's that one.
About his father.
Yeah. Daddy don't go or something like that. And I played it in the car, and Chloe's like, "Daddy, can you turn this off? I'm getting crying."
Oh no way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah. And you know what? He's so good for that because that's every dream to be an artist like him, because he, like I said, you can make, for even him, you can make a uplifting situation and, you know, make a really good party scene, and then he can also turn it into a, you know, softer side.
He's all over the map. I remember showing Jeremy him when I first started downloading some of his stuff off of like Spotify and that. And I was like, Jared, this guy's going to be huge. I said, but nobody hears enough of it. Like, and I tried to play some of his music when I was DJing, like some of the slow stuff. And like a lot of people are sitting there looking at you like, what are you playing? But it's like good slow songs, like Beautiful Crazy and...
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like that Spotify. It's good to find new music. Are you you have one of your songs on there, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I looked it up. Looking like that's on Spotify.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, I have it all over. I have it on Google Play, Amazon. I even have it on this one station that goes all the way into Africa. I have it everywhere.
Oh man!
Yeah. Wow.
It it gave me the options. Like when I was actually putting everything in to be sent off, there was an option to send it out to Africa, and I'm like, okay. I'll see if they like it.
What kind of a process is that, getting it on all those platforms?
It's definitely a long process. It's just. It's making sure you have the right formats and stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not even familiar with, and I usually have to get someone who's a little bit more tech savvy with everything to kind of take care of it, because I'm just it's terrible. I actually just bought a laptop, and I ended up typing out a whole bunch of stuff, and my wife actually looked at me and she said, "You know, you could have just copied and pasted that," and I'm like, what is that? Yeah. Oh, man. So it was, because you know what? I didn't know all this stuff was a part of, you know, I thought country music was just being a singer, but there's so much more than that, especially over the last few years. I've been trying to do everything. There's so much more to it.
Man.
And I learn something new every single day. Finally, when I think I know the industry, something else hits me and gives me a little bit of a wake-up call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. So where do you do predominantly most of your recording or like stuff like that?
Well, it just depends. I go sometimes to Nashville. I go sometimes just in the GTA areas.
Mm-hmm.
It just all depends. There's a lot. Most of our stuff has to be CanCon, so it just depends. CanCon is basically a Canadian platform where basically each song. So on the radio, you have to, for every 5 songs that are played, 2 songs have to be Canadian country.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Oh no way! I didn't know that.
But in order for that to actually be effective, you have to have 3 things that are CanCon inside the song. So it's rather being written by an artist, if it's recorded by a Canadian artist, if it's mastered in Canada. So you just have to have 3. You have to be a Canadian singer. So for me, it was easy because I was a Canadian singer. It was recorded in Canada, and I had it mastered in Canada. So a big part of actually any artist that is looking to become a singer, when you do first get your single out there, after the recording process, you don't actually have it done yet. You have to get it mastered, and I didn't even know what that was. So you actually have to send it out to somebody separately to get them to master and fine tweak the song, which is another added expense towards itself. So,
wow, man. So okay, let me in on the secret here. So you were at that concert, and what was were you raising money for something, or what was going on?
Yeah, so I was actually raising money. I went to Nashville and I recorded a song. Actually, it's called "How a Heart Works," and I'm actually going to be going on a radio tour across Canada, promoting my new single. It's extremely hard now to get songs on the radio. You can go around and it's thousands of dollars to do it, and there's a good chance it's not going on the radio. And unfortunately, it's just super expensive. One radio tour is I think it's about $8,000 to do it, and that's only. And then there's a whole bunch of other hidden stuff involved in that. So it's super expensive. And it was all towards the radio tour. I just got back from Nashville where that was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So I wanted to put on a show and basically try to raise money so I can kind of cut the cost a little bit.
Oh, that makes sense, man. So where are you going to be? What cities are you going to be hitting up in Canada?
You know what? We're still marking out everything. We're still going over everything. There's so many different places. We don't even have a set schedule on where we're all going yet, but I know it's going to be crazy. It's a good 3 week to a month process on the radio tour itself. So it's we're going everywhere. So closer to January, I'll know more where everything's going to be.
So you just like hanging tight right now? Are you doing a little bit of a tour in Ontario, I think, just to get some money?
You know what? Yeah, I actually just they're just shows that have been popping up and I have booked. I'm trying to actually take it easy now. I had some problems with my vocal cords. So I actually wanted to take a few weeks rest. And so I actually I'm not booking anything until November 20th. And I have a little showcase that's going on, just an acoustic set. But even last night, that was just a spontaneous thing. They asked me if I wanted to open for Jade Eagleson. I was like, of course, I'm going to come out of rest for that for sure. But after just being so busy this year, it's a great time to kind of wind back a little bit, write some new music, get some new music, record some new music, and just get ready for the radio tour and just be ready next summer to really hopefully take off. So
do you write a lot of music then?
Yeah. I typically try to write a song a day.
What?
And that's a big thing I learned, writing a song a day. And even if I don't get through the whole thing, I go and I start on something else the next day. So I really tried. Yeah. So it's a long thing. I sing every single day. I vocal train every single day. I work a full-time job every day. So it's, I have a wife, I have a kid. So just trying to jumble everything is just it's crazy.
Louise.
Trying to work. Yeah. Trying to make social media work. It's crazy, but you know what? It's all for a good thing.
So, like, not to say that I'm a music writer, but I've written a couple songs in my day, and I know how hard it is to, like, find topics. Like, I know that you hear about, like, musicians like John Mayer saying, like, well, this song came out of the universe, and I found it. Like, it's not, like, an easy thing to, like, come up with topics to write, but you're writing a song a day. Like, what's your,
inspiration?
Yeah, what's the inspiration behind all these? Like, how are you getting it?
Well, it's just honestly, I come up with so many. I always carry a pen and a paper with me during the day because something will pop up. For instance, my dad actually the one day told me to get my hands out of my pockets. So all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I started kind of coming up with a beat, and I wanted to write a song about your old man telling you basically how to get your hands out of your pocket, and then it kind of would turn into something about like, how can you hug and kiss a girl with your hands in your pocket? Like, really, and it just kind of started coming to me. And I went home and started writing it, and it turned out terrible. But that's
genius.
That's where it starts, and and that's how a lot of good songs just start. And even though it wasn't something that was good, I can always go back and kind of fine tune it. And there's a lot of days where I can't get a song in, but that's my goal. I try to write a song a day, and I really do stick by that. And I think that's the best thing to try to do.
Wow. Do you play guitar then?
Yeah, I play guitar. Yeah, I actually have a tattoo of a guitar on my wrist. So that's how everybody knows me. I've had so many people, even yesterday, they came up to me. They go, I knew that was you because you have the guitar tattooed on your wrist. So I was like,
rad,
okay,
man.
so everybody knows me as that, and the guy who wears denim on denim every single time he goes up on stage.
Man, that is so cool.
I'd say that's a good song, but it's already written.
Tattoo on your arm?
No, denim on denim.
Oh, denim on denim.
Yeah, that Tebe's already got that one.
It's a good look, man. The Canadian tuxedo. It's a good look. It is.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what that meant. I heard that. I was like, what? I don't get that. Everybody kept saying that. I'm like, I looked at my mom. I said, what is that? She goes, denim on denim. I'm like, oh, okay. So, that's how everybody knows me now, just as a guy who wears denim on denim.
You can pull it off, man. I'm telling you that you can pull it off.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
So when you first went on stage, how old were you?
Actually, the very first time I went up on stage, I was I think 7 years old.
Whoa!
I went up on stage. I looked at the guy, and they were doing this karaoke thing. And they said, "You come pick a song." I was about 7 or 8 years old, and I said, "They said, what song do you want to do?" I said, "I want to do Uncle Cracker, Follow Me." And I said, "I want you to play it with the music in the background, like him singing." Because that's what I was used to, because I was used to singing in the car. And I was at a craft show with my mom, and she let me go up there and do it. And when the song actually came on, it wasn't Uncle Cracker singing in the background. It was just the instrumental.
Oh.
And I sang about maybe 10 seconds of the song, and then I looked down and I said, "Cut the music." Everybody clapped. I got this medal that said karaoke winner, and
good for you, man.
Yeah. So that's my
right
mom
from
always likes to bring that
right
up.
from the start. Yeah. You're a winner.
Yeah, exactly. 10 seconds too. So I beat everybody in 10 seconds.
They must have sucked.
Yeah.
They weren't so good at the craft fair.
Exactly.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Here's Cindy on a song about sewing.
No, man. Oh my god.
So you at the concert there, you were saying you wrote quite a bit when you were in Nashville. Was there quite a bit going on? Like I know you said you were in the middle of doing that contest, but did you have a lot of downtime? Were you able to walk around and meet some of the other artists that were there, or was it you were kind of focusing?
You know what? You know what? I had the eye of the tiger going down there from the moment I stepped on the plane. I just had a lot of I was so focused, especially it was a little bit scary because I've listened to Luke Bryan, I've listened to Billy Currington, and knowing that this guy I was about to meet wrote. Actually, it was funny. About 2 weeks before I actually left, I had a show and I did the song Muffley Creek Water by Luke Bryan. And I actually found out just before I was leaving to jump on the plane to go to Nashville that Patrick Jason Matthews actually wrote that song. So it was a little bit intimidating going down there. But once I got down there, I was so focused on trying to just take in everything, learn as much as I could. I had only 1 day of downtime, and that was after everything was done. I only had Thursday, which was a full day, and I went and got the tattoo of the guitar on my wrist in Nashville.
Oh, so it's just like it's a recent tattoo. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's about a year almost.
Cool. So what are you listening to? Like I know, like I listen to certain types of music when I'm getting in the kind of like a place to like write music. But do you listen to the same kind of stuff, or is it like what are you listening to right now?
Oh, I'm a big Chase Race guy. So to be honest with you, almost everything I listen to for some reason over the past month has just been Chase Race. I haven't really listened to much anything other. It's just country. It's always country music, but Chase Race is one of my favorite artists. Actually, it was cool. I got to he's been my favorite since the beginning, and actually when I was at Boots and Hearts, he was the guy who was actually ending off the same day I was actually playing. And I met him about 5 years ago, and my wife actually paid for me to have a meet and greet with him.
Oh, no way.
And so I met him and I said, "Man, I'm like your biggest fan." I actually have your song lyrics tattooed on my leg. And he goes, "No way." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a big fan." He goes, "That was actually one of the first songs I ever did." And he goes, we just started talking, and I go, "I really want to be a country artist." He goes, "Oh, so you're going back and forth to Nashville?" I'm like, No, I'm just a karaoke singer. And but he actually gave me the time. He actually saw what a big fan I was. He gave me the time. And then when I was actually at Boots and Hearts, he happened to just be stepping out of his trailer, and it was 4 or 5 years later. I went up to him. I go, "I don't know if you remember me," and he remembered me.
No way.
And I said, I'm finally, I'm doing the country singing, and now I'm actually going to Nashville. And he goes, "What time is your set at?" And he poked around the corner, and he actually watched my set for the 15 minutes or so that I was up on stage. And then right as I got off, he gave me a thumbs up and then ran back to his trailer.
Buddy.
And I was like, yeah. So he was, so that was super cool to have that experience.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's especially being one of my favorite artists. So he said, "Yeah, I'll come out and watch your set." And I was like, "Oh, geez." And it was actually cool because I was talking to the guy who I songwrite with in Nashville and does all the songwriting. And he goes, "Yeah, me and Chase Rice actually wrote a song together." And I just looked at him and I go, "Oh, did he ever use it?" He goes, "No." And I go, "Oh, can I have it?" He goes, "We haven't heard it." I'm like, "I don't care. I want it."
Oh. Have you heard it? Have you been singing with it or what?
No, not yet.
Okay, no.
We haven't went in that far yet. So maybe one day, but not right now. I'm kind of focusing. I definitely want to do a lot more of my own writing too. I have some pretty big things. I actually have an EP that's coming out also in about February.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually already starting on the next one. And this one's not even out yet, but it's already completed. It's just not out till February, so I'm already starting on the next one.
So when we were at the concert there, you had a bunch of merch on the table and you had a CD. What was the? Is there any tracks like that available on that CD? Because you actually played one that night that I really liked.
So I actually wanted to give everybody the opportunity that was coming to actually support me, to show them what you are supporting. And that EP that I have that's called Longer that's coming out is not available till February. So actually those songs that you're actually hearing, nobody else has actually heard yet.
Ooh. Oh, I have the inside scoop.
Yeah.
It was really good.
And actually one of the songs on that is the one I'm actually going on the radio tour with, and that's the one song, How a Heart Works, which because of my live shows, wherever I go and I sing the song, people know it. So I'm like, I haven't even tried to push the song out to radio yet, or even go on a radio tour with it yet. And every show I go to, people actually know the song.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so they were cool.
They were belting it out at my table, I'll tell you. So
yeah, so I mean, it's really something.
Man. So I guess I gotta ask this question. So I'm finding more often nowadays, artists are putting out just like singles, and they're putting out like EPs. They're not putting out back in the day, they would put out a whole album, and then they would tour with that whole album. But now, like, not to use like a name, but I'm like, someone like, for instance, Drake, he'll put out like a single from his album way before the album comes out, and maybe put like a couple singles. Why do you think, is that like a theme going on with music nowadays, just because
I have, you know what? I haven't actually. I'm not sure why that is. For me, it was the only reason that I put out an EP first was because one, doing a full album is very expensive, and I think it's more convenience now of just having those few songs really getting their airtime. And I honestly I couldn't even tell you. I'm not that far yet to actually say anything about it yet. But even for me, my EP that's coming out was only a 4-song EP, and that on its own was just a process of itself.
Oh, I bet.
So I can only imagine, and the next EP that I'm putting out is going to be an 8-song EP, and so I'm already pulling out my hair on that.
Man,
you know what I think it is though, because when you have now, you don't actually have to buy the whole album anymore. Like on Amazon, on iTunes, you don't have to buy the whole album. So if you want to buy just one song, you can. So if you have an album like say like Limp Bizkit, if you don't like the whole album, if you only like a couple tracks that are on there,
Bizkit.
I'm just saying if there was a track on there
nobody is limping with the biscuit anymore.
I was gonna say Cardi B, but I figured I'd beat the snot out of her last week. All right. But yeah, like songs that it's like things that like, bangers that you want to play for dance music or things like that. I don't have to go buying the whole album just to get that one song anymore, right?
Man, you don't even have to buy the album anymore. No. You can just subscribe to Spotify and you can get every single piece of music. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm so big on. There's not a better thrill to me than going into Walmart and picking up the artist's CD. There's nothing, and I love playing that because, so many people go, "Oh, did you hear this new single?" And it goes, "I did hear it, but did you not hear song number 9?" And they go, "I only know this one song." Yeah, and it is really sad because there's some good songs on it, and a lot of people miss out on it because of that. And I feel like that is a big thing that happens out with now is, especially with iTunes, a lot of people, they just hear the one song, they don't want to listen to the whole CD.
People don't want to leave their house anymore, though.
Yeah, it's
true.
It's all convenience now. Yep. And a big thing is people always go for, well, what's the best song? Like, where's they go to for instance, we're constantly looking up where's the best restaurant, what's the best taco, where's the best burrito place, and so when people vote on a song on iTunes, people just go, well, what's the best song on the CD that people think
because it's ranked, right?
Right, but it's not always the best song for everybody.
It's not.
Like for instance, I'll say this, I know Post Malone just came out with a new album maybe a month ago, and so there's a big song that came out with Ozzy Osbourne. But I listened to the album, and there's a song on that album that's not even like a big song, and I think it's probably one of the better songs. So
yeah, you think, and that's what's so funny because for instance, Chase Wrights, like I said, I'm a huge fan, and a year and a half ago I was listening to the CD, and all of a sudden I'm in my car and on the radio they're like, listen to Chase Wright's new song, Eyes on You, and I go, I've heard that song for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
I go, that song's been out for a year and a half, like, and that's what it is. I mean, Mitchell Tenpenny, big singer in the States, his one song he was pushing on for 2 years before it even got noticed.
Man.
And it became one of the biggest songs.
Jeez.
So it's such a process, and you don't know. And I consider it the same as a career. You got to keep going because you just don't know. There is a time to call it quits, and there is a time. But if you don't keep going and you just go, well, I never made it the first time around, I'm going to give up. Jason Aldean went and came out with a song, started to get big, and then all of a sudden nothing happened for like 2 years, and now look at him, he's the biggest thing in country music.
Yep. Like you say, it's kind of like it's like a wave. Like there was that one song by Midland, Mr. Lonely. It was out for a long time, and then I think it was like a couple months ago I saw that they actually came out with a music video for it. And then today was the first day I don't listen to the radio a whole lot just for where I am for work. I don't get a whole lot of radio stations, but it was kind of nice to be able to hear Mr. Lonely on the radio finally for the first time in a long time.
That's interesting, man.
And it's a great song. Like it's a great line dance song that I can play, right? So
kind of makes you think though. Like I remember I was listening to an interview maybe about 10 years ago by the band Alexis on Fire, and they were around for a long time, and they were small time for a long time, but they said, if you're making money for music, you're making money for the wrong reasons. So if you're just in it just to make, if you're in there to get to the top of the charts, or if you're in there to make $1 million, like you're not going to make it there. If you're in there for the passion and you love it, like you were saying, you want to do a large spectrum of music. You want people to feel the passion, but you also want people to party. So if you're not in it for that, like it kind of makes sense. Like why are you making music? It kind of defeats it.
Yeah, and it's such a and there is right now, especially for newer artists, you're out of pocket for everything. I actually had probably about 5 or 6 people that I went to high school with that I haven't talked to in 6 years, but they're coming out of the woodworks now.
No,
and before, and you know what, I always give people the benefit of the doubt. I mean, and I get a lot of messages, and people go to me, they go, oh, I saw you on ET today. They go, man, you must be doing so well. You must just be loaded.
Oh my God.
And I said, no. I said, all my money goes into music. That's it, and it's ridiculous the amount it costs to do this. And it's funny because it's thousands and thousands of dollars. And at the end of the day, you have to really understand that this could all be for nothing at the end of it.
Yeah, it's just
it really is at the end of the day. If you're going to go and you're going to try to make this career happen and you don't make it, you're going to sit there and go all down about it. It shouldn't have been about that in the first place. It's the love of music. There's not a better feeling than when I'm up on stage, I'm looking out in the crowd and I'm going, wow, they are all here to see me, or they're here enjoying my music. I remember one of the first shows I went to was Brad Paisley. And I remember walking past his tour bus, and I just see everybody looking at him, appreciating that he was there. And I went, wow, everybody's here to see that guy perform. And there was something about that moment that made me go, I want that. And I saw him perform as my very first concert, and I went, this is what I want to do. This is amazing.
Yeah, he's another guy too that he can kind of jump all over the fact for like spectrum wise, for dance, for slow, for like just even, toe tapping.
Even the funny music like that fishing.
Yeah, you actually like him too.
That fishing song is hilarious.
Yeah,
where it's like I loved her. I was like, that song is awesome.
And that is a demo. Why have Jeremy? Why he can't sing?
Oh, come on. Whatever.
And you know what? It's so funny because it's those type of artists that know how to adjust with the times, and that's why they're still around today. There's a lot of artists who don't know how to adjust with times. become one thing, and then they fall out because they don't know how to adjust with the times. You have to know how to adjust with the times.
Do you think that Taylor Swift adjusted too much with the times? Wait a minute! Don't answer that. Don't answer that. I don't want you to get in trouble.
Hang on, before you answer that.
No. And you know what? I mean, she can do both.
Yeah.
She can go and she can do country music.
Good answer.
She can go do pop music. Music, and you know what? She does well at both. And you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not a pop fan, because I don't know, for the past year, there's been some really good pop music that I've heard that actually is really catchy, and I go, wow, this is kind of good. And to be honest with you, at any point if Taylor Swift wanted to, she could go back to country, and she could do just as good as she was doing pop music. So, and to be honest with you, 9 times out of 10, pop country sounds like pop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like, I think.
So,
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because Florida Georgia line is they kind of skim that line as well sometimes on some of their songs.
Yeah, and you know what? But they're smart. They're really smart, because they're not just reaching out to country fans. Yep. They're reaching out to pop fans as well.
Yep.
A lot of people go, and a lot of the older artists I notice, they go, well, country isn't like it used to be. It's not. Well, you know what? All these people who didn't like country before are now starting to appreciate country music, because you're adding in that pop style to it.
Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because hey, if you want to listen to older time country, you can still listen to older time country. But if you want a little bit of pop in there, you can now listen to pop country. And everybody goes, well, country isn't like it used to be. Well, you know what? It's the best of both worlds now. So what's wrong with that?
You can still listen to it. Like, you can still listen to a nice, like, Willie Nelson song. And you know what I mean? Like, what is that? Hey Walls, like that song where he was talking.
Yeah.
And then you can listen to like a song like that new one about not Country Road, but the one about he's like Old Time Horse or something.
Old Town Road.
No. The song about where he goes. That was the song that that rapper did.
Old Town Road.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. That was Lil Nas and
right. Like
Billy.
Cyrus.
Billy Cyrus. Yeah.
Yeah, Billy Cyrus. I can't believe I brain farted on that one too.
Like,
achy breaky. I went achy breaky on that one.
Still,
I was like, especially me. I can't believe that didn't pop in my head right away. I'm sorry to go. I was about to say like Miley Cyrus.
I was just about to say that. I was gonna say I was gonna say Wrecking Ball's dad.
Yeah, I was about to say Hannah Montana's dad. That would be right either.
And that's something interesting too. Like, she went from like really, really, really pop to like kind of crazy songs, and then she did a cover of Jolene, that Dolly Parton song. And I don't know about you guys, but I kind of felt like when she did that cover, it kind of brought her kind of back into like this like okay, you're not as crazy, or you're not as kind of like intense. Like, I don't know.
And then she came back with Malibu after that, which is another mellow one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I look at it like, you know what, she lived her whole life as being that
Hannah
kind
Montana.
of center of it. Yeah, that kind of big star and everything like that, where she always had to be good. She always had to be, and you know what, that teenage years, I feel like she kind of missed out on, because she was so focused on trying to be a goody.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, she finally just went, you know what, I'm going to, and everybody says she's going crazy because she was just trying to be a teenager. And she was just trying to, have that little bit of a wild side. You know what? But right when you get older, you start to realize, and you go, okay, I've had my fun, time to smarten up. Yep. That's what she did.
Yeah, we all.
So you know what? It was just, it was her just being her.
Yeah, like who hasn't wanted to ride a wrecking ball in their underwear? Come on.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
maybe accidentally, maybe.
But yeah, there are a lot of artists. But the funny thing is too, though, like they say, like country music is kind of going dancey poppy, but like just from DJing, I know a lot of the music that I play for country is all the older stuff, like Shania Twain and maybe Josh Turner, and like a lot. There's not a whole lot. Like I'll play, like I said, a lot of that stuff like Midland, and people look at you like, "What the hell are you playing?" It's like, give it a minute, it gets good.
And you have to, but you know what? It's even me when I go out. It's so hard because you have to make sure. Like for instance, I had to redo an entire set list to please a college yesterday.
No way.
And you have to be ready for that stuff. You have to be ready to build it for them. They're here. They're drinking. They're ready to have a good time. You have to build a set list for that, and then you go on and you have an event where okay, you got a little bit of older generations. You got to know how to build a set list for that. Because I'll tell you what, if I went and brought the set list that I went and played at the college and brought it to people who are in their 50s, 60s, they're not going to appreciate it like the 20-year-olds who, by the time they're coming to pay for their drinks, have already drank in a bottle.
Yeah, exactly. The pre-drinking has already happened.
Exactly.
Oh, have you come across where when you're doing an event and the event coordinator just kind of says to you, I know you're there to please the crowd, but we're really just shooting to keep bodies in the building, and so that way they stay and drink. Is that something that you've come across as well, where it's kind of like you said, you kind of catered the show, but like the coordinator of the show came up to you and asked you to almost coordinate your show as well, or are you like you're hired, it's your show, you do what you need to do, and they stay away?
That's exactly what it is. It's the second point. That's exactly what it is. It's they go over and when they hire you, they know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be the best person to hire for an old ladies luncheon. I wouldn't be the best person to hire for that event. Yeah. So they kind of know what they're getting into when they hire me, and especially I had my very first headlining show ever, and I was headlining about 3 weeks ago, Brewfest in Kapuskasing, about 8 hours up north. From Milton, where I live, and I didn't know what I was getting into. I really didn't. And they said, "Okay, you're going to be the main headliner." So I think they had 5 for 4 people open for me. And then when I went up on stage, I want to say there's about 600 to 700 people there. I want to say, and about that or something. And it was just, they were loving it. I mean, there was people up at the front, and it was so cool because I went there thinking, okay, I'm going to go up there and just play a show. So many people knew who I was, and it was everybody's singing my song, and they really did. They treated me and my whole band like kings that night. Wow. And it was just amazing. And they said, this is your show, and you run with it. So I went over, I played my songs, I got off stage. They were asking for an encore, so I went back out. I did an encore. I stepped back off, and people wouldn't leave until I did one more encore.
Oh, man.
So I went back on stage and did another encore, and even the promoters in the back came running to me. They're like, "You can't leave. You have to do one more." And I always make it my thing where after a show, I always go for a meet and greet. That's like a very big thing for me. I always like to meet the people that come out. I like to meet the people that know me. I also, as a business aspect, I want to know where they heard me from. I want to know how they found out about me, because that will be my biggest source of getting out my music to more people.
Mm-hmm. That's smart, man.
So it's because this isn't just singing, it's a business. Mm-hmm. All this money me putting into it right now, it's a business, it's growing. I have to find out how people are hearing about me. Even the one when I went out to the event yesterday for the college, I asked them, I go, how'd you guys find out about me? And they go, Boots and Hearts. I went up to Kapuskasing. I said, how'd you guys hear about me? They said Boots and Hearts. So it seems like Boots and Hearts my number one thing. So that's how everybody knows me.
So cool.
Yeah. So it's really helped me.
Ernie was saying you do a lot of you cover some songs. Like, what would you say is your favorite song that you like to cover, or artist, I want to say song. Yeah, what's your favorite song?
You know what? It's not even one that everybody knows. It's by Chase Rice, and it was done in 2006. It's called "Shaking the Wheels," and not many people know what the song is. I mean, I think I've played that song maybe 10 different times at a show, and I've seen one person that entire time sing along with me. So, but it's one of my favorite songs, and like and that song is 14 years old now. So yeah, it's crazy.
I'll have to check it out.
It's a really good song. It's one of my favorites, and I listen to that song probably once a day.
Oh man. So it's been. I'm really out of the loop with this country. I feel bad. Like, you guys are name dropping here, and I'm like, oh, I don't know who that is.
No, that's okay. Yeah.
Ernie's the country guy. Like, it was funny. Ernie DJ'd event. He does an event every year for a moonshine company, Murphy's Law, who was on the podcast 2 podcasts ago, and Ernie does a charity event for them every year, and it's always Ernie plays country during that time. And I always come and help with his equipment. I'm like the guy who carries
the roadie.
The roadie. Yeah. So I'm always his roadie. So I'm always just like hanging out, making sure nobody's messing with his stuff. and he's playing all this country. I'm like, what are you doing this for? He's like, just wait. You just wait. And we're like an hour in, and Ernie has a whole dance floor of just girls, just dancing all together. Almost like, I guess country's where it's at. If you're doing a moonshine event,
little Copperhead Road in the dance.
Yeah, man, like that. It was like it's just so interesting that it's such a whole separate type of genre. Like you guys have your own like country music awards, like separate from everybody else.
Yeah, and I've actually been to all of them. I go to the Ontario ones every year, and then I go to the ones last year. That one was in Hamilton, and I got to play at one of the showcases there where I actually got to go perform. And then this year, I can't remember where it was this year, but it was far, and I didn't end up making it out there this year. But yeah, we got our own country music awards now.
Like, is that the one that's in Nashville, the CMT one or whatever?
So there's a U.S. one, and then there's a Canadian one. The Canadian one happens all over. Like I said, last year it happened in Hamilton, and this year it was. I can't remember where it was this year, but the previous years it was in Saskatchewan. So it's all over. It just depends.
That's cool. You said that you did Nashville. Is there any other big concerts that you've done in the States?
No. I've never actually played in the States yet. Never got to actually play. Yeah, I never got to play there yet. I went there to record and stuff like that. I went there to write, but haven't went there to play yet. One day. But you know what? Canada just has been my home. You know, so for so long, and it would make me just as happy to make it in Canada as it would the States.
Would you think that country music's bigger in the States? Is that me speaking out of turn? I don't really know.
I would say it is.
What do you think?
I would. Oh yeah, big time. It's definitely a lot bigger in the States. But you know what? Canada has its own country. I feel like it is a big difference. If you listen to American country versus Canadian country, I do feel like Canadian country music does have its own. If you even listen to country music from Australia, it has its own. Yeah, it's big over there too. In Australia, it's huge.
Yeah, if you go on, I think it's what's that streaming thing you can go on there and you can like even there's a German one and there's an Australian.
Wait a
one.
minute, German country music?
Yeah, it's American Canadian country in there down there.
No way.
Yeah, up there, down there, sideways, wherever it is. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's big and it's all over the place. So. Yeah,
I think it's definitely grown in Canada though. Like it's and all over because you can say like when you go on like the top 40 charts. I think I was looking into it. My wife was even saying yesterday because she doesn't like country, but she can appreciate everything. But she likes pop music, and she was like, there's a country song on top 40 that I really like right now. So she'll send me the links for them. I think it's Kane. Brown, I think his last name.
Yeah, it's Kane Brown. Yeah, it's Kane Brown. Well, even Kane Brown, country singer, is doing a song with Marshmello.
Yes. I think it might be that song actually.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, hey, you're all you're doing is giving more spotlight on country as well because pop is such a big thing. That is like probably the biggest music that, in my opinion, is probably pop. It is bigger than country. Mm-hmm. And now country went over and has designed into pop country. It's the smartest thing that, people could have did because you're pleasing both crowds. You're pleasing country people and you're pleasing the pop community.
Mm-hmm. Are you when you write a song, like do you go like you're gonna this one today I might do like a pop country one, like does that ever affect you at all? Like it may be something you had heard like the day before or.
No, to be honest with you, when I write a song, it all starts off with just something that, and I know a lot of people who sit on the guitar and they start strumming and they go, oh, that sounds like a good catchy tune. I've written a couple songs like that, but most of my songs just come off of just a certain word to me, or just something will randomly just pop into my head like a certain beat. And to be honest with you, until I'm finished with it, I don't even know if it's going to be pop country, if it's going to be like a rock country. Because I try to please everybody. Like I said, especially the CP that I have coming out called Longer, there's a soft song on there for people. There's a nice rock country, and then there's a nice little pop country on there. It really does give you everything. And then there's some of that old style country on there. I feel like I have the best of both worlds on everything there.
Are those your songs on the EP? Like, did you help write?
No. So on these ones, I didn't. I haven't made it myself yet to where I feel comfortable where I'm going to start putting out stuff that I wrote. I have a lot of stuff on my next EP. I do have songs that I wrote on there, so I'm super excited. But no, these ones were all done by professionals.
Have you tried any of your stuff on stage?
I did, and then once I rebranded myself, I haven't since.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and I'm actually super excited about next summer because next summer I will probably have about 3 songs that I have actually wrote that are going to be performed on stage. So I'm super excited. There was actually one song that I wrote, and it was I ended up taking it down when I went to go rebrand myself. It was called Wild Ride, and it was funny because I was doing a show, and someone came up to me and they're like, "Can you do Wild Ride?" And I said, "Oh, you know that song?" They go, "Oh, that's like one of my favorite songs." I'm like, my new band doesn't know that, but I mean, I can see what I can do. She goes, "Please, it's like my favorite song, or if you could ever redo that song and have it come out again, I'd just love that because I don't have it anymore." So it was cool. At least people like the songs that I wrote.
So when you say your band, like, did you set this band up? Do you know a bunch of these guys, or are these just musicians that are kind of like hired on to hang out with you, or like how does that work?
Yeah. So actually, they're all paid musicians to just come on board with me, and actually, the group of guys I have right now are awesome. They are my dream band, I was in a little situation where I had my other band that couldn't actually make it to some of the events. And I had to hire this other group basically last minute, and the band that I actually hired, all the songs I put for my set list, actually learned all of them for this one confiscation show in 3 weeks, which is amazing. And we only had a few rehearsals, and we all just clicked together.
That's awesome.
I've every single time I have a show now, I hire them because I have a fantastic time with them.
And those are just Canadian guys too?
Just Canadian boys, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's rad.
They're really good. They are really, really good. I heard that.
Oh yeah, and great personalities. I mean, I love it. Jerome is my head guitar player, just insane at guitar. And Nate's another one who's one of the guitar players, fantastic. And then Mark, the bass player, fantastic. And then we got Josh on the drums. So you see, they're all great boys.
Man.
So did you take them with you to Nashville, or is that? I thought that's where you said you met them actually.
No. So no, yes, I actually nope. They haven't came with me to Nashville. I'd like to take a couple of the boys on the radio tour with me. I wouldn't mind doing that, and I'd like to give them some work where I can bring one of the guitar players with me and let them come on the radio tour with me there.
So when you're touring, are you taking a bus, or do you guys take separate cars, or how does it work?
When we're going to a show, it just depends. Like for instance, like we just drive up. Most of the stages or most of the stuff that we go to mostly has backline, which means that it has already the equipment there. The only thing that the boys need to bring are their guitars and their foot pedals. And for me, the only thing I bring is a guitar and in-ears. So it's super easy. We just show up, plug in, and go. And usually we take about 2 vehicles for that. Yeah. So, but the event that I actually threw, it was so weird. I actually had to put everything together. So I had to go and talk to a sound guy, which is actually my drummer as well. He gave me a list of stuff that I had to rent specifically for my show. And I had to go to Lon McQuaid, and here I am. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's just a speaker, maybe it's just a stand. I didn't know what he was really wanting me to get. And they come wheeling out like 3 big, huge speakers, 5 smaller speakers. And I'm like, oh, I only brought my waist Jeep. I don't know how this is all going to fit. So, but it was pretty good. And it all worked out great.
Is that for the event last weekend there?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Oh, wow. It looked really good. Looked really good.
Yeah, it turned out really good. We did good. We hit a really nice goal. So
that's awesome.
The radio tour is going to still happen. So I'm super excited.
Was that DJ? Was that somebody that you guys bring along with you, or is that just somebody that you hired from in town?
No. So actually it was funny. The people that I actually hired, the DJs, were actually family friends. But not only that, they were actually ran the karaoke competition that I went and did all those years ago when I first got my start. And the one lady who actually runs it with the gentleman, she actually was my very first vocal coach. So it was a little bit of history there. So they did it to be, good, and they offered their services, and I took it right away.
Nice.
Free service, man. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So I got to ask, you mentioned before, you said this is like your passion project, but it's not your full-time gig. What's your full-time gig?
I'm actually an operator for a construction company.
Oh, man. No way.
Are you really?
Yeah. So it's crazy. Long hours and stuff. And,
trust me, you're talking to another operator.
Oh, are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you? So I'm mostly in a rock truck, and I do a little bit in the loader and the hoe, but I mean excavator because you're not allowed to call it a hoe anymore. But mostly rock trucks and packers and things like that.
Yeah, so I'm like dozers, graders, backhoe, excavator. I don't ever go into a rock truck, but we're a grade crew, so we're like grade and final grade. So a lot of stress and a lot of hard work involved.
Yeah. I don't want to. You don't have to mention any names. Are you doing mostly road construction, or what do you do?
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. Roads, parking lots, and super long days. I usually don't get home till about 6 o'clock, and then basically I do music for so long, and then once 8 o'clock hits, I basically give my daughter a kiss goodnight and head her back to music, and then I try to get to bed at about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and then I got to be up at about 6 o'clock or 5:30 every morning. So
are you do you get to stay like close to home, or like are you is it kind of like wherever the contract is?
Mostly GTA. So it's I live in the GTA, so it's super. It just depends. We have jobs that are an hour and a half away. And then we have jobs that are, right now I have a job that's literally 5 minutes down the road from my house. Nice. So, and I love that considering I don't have to sit in the bad traffic coming back from Toronto.
So the gravel pit that's in Milton there, the Dufferin?
Yeah.
Dufferin just up the road? Yeah. So we were actually contracted to work in that pit. We were there for almost a year. We had rock trucks, we had dozers, excavators, and we had a big contract in one of the pits down in Milton there. And I was contracted in there for almost like 2 years. We were working in the pit.
Oh, and it's good. You know what? I personally like staying in one place. We did a job, Markham and Highway 7 there, and at Warden and Highway 7 area. And I was there for 2 years, 2.5 years. So it was great to just stay in one place. And it was right beside the 407 where we could jump in, especially with me being so busy. Like it's just terrible. I'm so busy that every minute that I have to stay at work, because as construction goes, there's a lot of overtime involved.
Yep.
So every second to me is so precious, especially I can't use my phone during the day, so I really have to try to get as much as I can done.
Yeah.
And I only have about a 5-hour window to get stuff done. And my wife is very supportive of that. She knows I work hard all day, and then I got to go and do that. So I'm 24/7 nonstop, but this is like the first weekend where I'm actually going to take it easy. To be honest with you, I'm excited to try to write some new music. To be honest with you, I don't really want to take a break.
Man, well, thanks. I guess I can say thank you for giving up your time, then hanging out with us and talking on the podcast.
Well, the other thing too, just before we jump off the heavy equipment, the nice thing is though, as we both know, is we could sing as much as we want in that equipment, and nobody's going to hear us. I could sing a mean song and everybody thinks I'm mad. They're like, I'm not going to go talk to him.
He's just yelling in the
Yeah, he's banging on the steering wheel.
Oh, man. So what's the future? What do you want for your future? Like, what's your goal, I guess? Like, what do you want for the rest of your brand for your music?
You know what? I really, as of right now, I have my heart set on just really making 2020 my year. And it was funny because when I first started really turning this into a business in, I guess, 2016, it was so funny. Every single year I went, oh, next year I'm going to hopefully make it. Next year I'm going to hopefully make it. And I've now stopped saying that to myself, and I stopped saying it, and I didn't even put anything in line for 2019, and 2019 has been my best year so far. I'm literally, and if it all ended right now, I'd be, just so happy. I've gotten to do stuff in, generally a short amount of time. I mean, there's country artists like Luke Bryan. He was doing, I think, for 10 to 15 years before he got noticed.
No way.
But then again, I keep thinking, I'm like, I haven't been doing this that long. And all of a sudden I look and I'm like, it's almost been about 5 years now. I've been trying to, do this. And it's funny because I'm at that point now where every step that I make is so crucial to my business. And I feel like I'm making the best move, and I feel like I'm finally starting to get noticed after all the hours of hard work, after all the time. It's finally starting to pay off.
So you said that you rebranded yourself a while ago. What did you mean by that?
So basically just the first couple of years, I wasn't doing the proper things. I was taken advantage of by managers, especially in the music industry. There's a lot of people who are out there to just take your money.
Oh, God.
And it's really sad. And when you want to do something bad enough, and you have people telling you that they can do this and this and this for a certain amount of dollars, you're going to believe them. But it's not all rainbows and sunshine, right? So but you know what? Now I feel like I'm smarter, and I now know myself as an artist. I think the hardest thing to do is, because when I first started, my biggest problem was I want to be like Chase Rice. I want to be like Darius Rucker. I want to be a Luke Combs. That was my biggest mistake. And that's like a little bit of any advice I can give to somebody. It's you have to find yourself, and you have to know what kind of artist, because they already have a Chase Rice, they already have a Luke Combs, they already have a Kenny Chesney. You have to separate yourself. And to be honest with you, if you sound like the guy beside you and you're playing on the radio, you want to be able to tell yourself apart from everybody else.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I remember doing some reading into Ray Charles, and when Ray Charles started his career, the same thing. They took advantage of him. Obviously, he had a blindness disability, but he was amazing at copy people.
Oh, yeah.
That was his thing. He would copy people's songs, and he would like redo it and cover songs, and he would cover people's like style. And then when he found his own style is when he took off.
But he had like a real hard time seeing eye to eye with people, though.
Oh my God!
Did he?
Oh my God!
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing eye to eye. So I gotta ask. I asked this, and most people come on the podcast. So do you listen to podcasts? Because I know Ernie does. Sorry, I asked if you listen to podcasts, because I know Ernie listens to podcasts when he does his equipment job every day, because he has to be in there for like 10 hours. So do you listen to them, like different ones?
You know what? I don't have time. I don't. You know what? I just. You know what? Even if I get a second, and you know what? I used to always laugh at people who said that. Like, I used to call my friends and I'd be like, why haven't you called me back in the week? They're like, I literally have no time. I go, listen, if I'm making time, or if I can make time to give you a phone call, but it's literally, I don't have time. And even when I'm in the car, I use that opportunity to listen to my set list, to go over everything. And I feel at this point, if I do anything else that's not involving music at this point, I feel like I'm just wasting time. I mean, I went over and I enjoy playing video games sometimes, and I feel like if I even jump on and play Xbox for 10 minutes, I feel like that 10 minutes could be towards music.
Man.
And and it's just terrible.
You're like just earning and burning. This is awesome. That's great. That's good. That's good to hear. You're like, I'm not putting any time in any garbage. I'm just doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You know what? Actually, my wife listens to. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. There's this one person. I don't know. It's like Vanderpump Rules. This one girl named Stassi.
Oh God, yeah.
My wife loves her, and I think I've heard her podcast, maybe one or two. I've heard so many people talk about podcasts. I didn't even actually know what it was. I was,
well, welcome to the podcast.
I've actually had a couple people ask me to jump on their podcast. I usually just never have time. And then, considering your kind of family, I went, I got a good time.
Buddy, thank you so much, man.
No problem.
That's awesome.
No
thank you.
Well, we hope we made it a fun time.
It's because I bought his hat. That's why. He's like, fucking guy bought my hat. Now I got to talk to him.
It's been great. No. And you know what? My assistant was even saying to me, basically, she's like, okay, you got this going on. And then she's like, you can enjoy your weekend. And then all of a sudden, she messaged me. She goes, oh, you're going to be on a podcast. She's like, Friday. I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, I'll message them and cancel. I'm like, no. I'm going to do it. She's like, oh, you can make time for that? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm going to make time for that.
Man, thanks a lot.
Yeah, so I'm like, she's like, yeah, but you said you were having a day off. I'm like, no, I'll do that. And it's good. I enjoy this kind of stuff. And it gets everybody out there a little bit more, you know what I mean? And a lot of the fans have asked me to do more interview type style stuff. And, so especially when I can make the time for it, I try.
Well, if you ever have anything that you need to like send out to the world, or you want to get out there to the people, and you want to get on, on social networks or podcasts, our mics are always on for you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, no, that's great.
More than happy to make the social media world spin.
Yeah, man. We always have a good time. So.
Yeah, no, it's been a great time. Yeah, no, it's nice to. I just sit here and kind of open up about everything and just, tell everybody about me because, it's just, like I said, it's, we're busy. Every country artist is, especially country artists that actually are up and coming, like actual up and coming artists. Mm-hmm. They don't have time to do anything, so, you can really tell which artist is taking it seriously and which one's not, because I'll tell you what, this is a 24-hour thing. And, like I said, I have a wife and a kid, and, you have to have a very patient wife or a very patient, spouse to be able to put up with this type of lifestyle. And I tell my wife every day, I go, I really appreciate everything you've done and being so patient with me, but it's only going to get worse from here. So,
but it could get better too, like, you know what I mean, like,
yeah, and as in the sense of just being gone a lot, not having time for certain stuff.
Yep.
There's time where I say to my wife, I'm like, oh, for sure this weekend we're going to go and do this, and then music pops up. But you know what, she knows this is a dream of mine. I've worked way too hard to give up now, and there's no what if I don't make it? I have it in my head. I have to make it at this point, because after all the time I've invested, I'm not going to let this slip through my hands. I put in way too much time to let it go now.
No, I told you, man. You could tell. I said it to Danielle when I was sitting there. I was like, you can tell this is not his first rodeo. Like, you could tell you were really enjoying it. You were owning the stage. You got that? Yeah. Own the stage, and your stage presence. I don't know, whatever you did, your prep, you did awesome, because it really did. You were really comfortable up there. You could tell.
Yeah, you know what it is? It's me. That's it. And what's up there is it's me. Yeah. And like I said, it took me a good 3 years of building. It took me a good 4 years of building a business to actually find out who I am. And you know what? I can comfortably say maybe even in the past 5 months, I actually found out who I am. I found out who I want to be. I found out what type of artist I am. I found out the road I want to take. Mm-hmm. And every country artist does it differently. Every country artist makes it differently. And I truly believe that, even though, you know what, the one big thing is everybody goes, oh, I'm so sorry for you because you got screwed over when you first started out. And I go, why is that a bad thing? You know what? Maybe I did lose a little bit of money. Maybe I did make a lot of dumb decisions, but that built me into the person who I am now. And I look at it like, if I didn't do those certain things, I wouldn't be at this certain position. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I met this guy who ended up, kind of taking advantage of me was because of the fact that I bought a house, and the person who I bought the house from knew this person. And I told them I was a singer and this is what I wanted to do. And I don't look at it like for a second it was bad, because if it meant me going through all of that stuff to end up where I am now, I would have been okay with it happening another 10 times before it, because it built me into who I am now.
Yeah, what we do wrong, we always learn from.
What did that thing that Tony said? He said you either win or you learn. You never lose.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you win or you learn. Either win or learn.
Yeah. And you know what? It's just it's great. You know, I look at a lot of bad stuff, you know, like that happens, and I go, you know, and then I see where I am in the future, and I go, wow, this is, you know, I can't believe that at the time that was the worst thing that could have happened. And even with band members or anything, it could be such a bad position. You can think, man, if I make this one decision, this could be it, and this could end my career. But it ends up being the best decision that you made. And at the time, you're sitting there thinking it's the worst decision.
Yep.
How old did you say your daughter was?
She's 2 now. She just turned 2.
What does she think of Dad as the country artist?
She's, you know what, she I don't think she understands yet.
Oh, she's
but yeah, I mean, you know what, but it's good. You know, my wife, she it was funny because when I go to my shows now, like I usually, you know, I do a big meet and greet and stuff like that. So I have people that come and take pictures. I have people that, you know, I do autographs and stuff like that. I just do a whole bunch of different stuff. And it was so funny because my wife at the beginning was so excited about everything. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people actually want to come and take a picture with you. That's so cool, this and that. And, you know, now I can have a lineup of like 50 to 100 people, and it does not faze her at all. She just sits there and goes, whatever now. So, you know, just because she's used to it now. But, I mean, you know, so, but I guess she's not too impressed. I mean, I have girls that throw up the bras up on stage. I'm getting a lot of that recently. And then even yesterday's show, I had a girl come over, and I was in the one room, and it had like a whole glassware, which was an awesome room. They gave us a room just to kind of unpack in and stuff like that, and stay backstage. And it was like pool tables, Xboxes, catered, and like all the sandwiches and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, that girl ended up finding her way to the front of the glass, and ended up flashing me in the band.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's just
boobs happen, man.
I'm happy to hear it's not just the DJs getting sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you hear what I'm talking about?
Oh,
you know,
man.
It's all good.
But see, you get to move around. I'm trying to stand there to guard my expensive electronics, and their hands are wandering. They're
drunkies
all
drinks.
spilly talking. You're trying to be like, please don't dump that on the electronics.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my god.
Oh man,
well,
it's
good
like
to know it's not just me.
Oh, the Christmas parties are the worst.
Oh my god.
Oh,
yeah. You know, it's funny because I think I have it bad, and I talk to some of the other artists, and I hear some of the stuff that they go through. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. That's not even like I guess I have it easy.
I was gonna ask you if the crowds in the States were worse than the Canadian ones. I was gonna say, but you hadn't been to the States. Have you had any like really rough crowds before when you were performing?
Rough crowds.
No, honestly, everybody has been great. Honestly, everybody's been fantastic. Even, you know, you see, especially when you look up somebody even on the internet, and you see all this like people. Like I actually, one of my buddies there is actually an artist. One of the really good artists, Andrew Hyatt, great Canadian country artist. He went over and he made a post the other day that somebody said something like "get off like the stage" or something like that to him, and he posted it as a joke. And he's phenomenal. So for anybody to say that about him, I was sitting there going, "What?" Like he's one of the best. And it was funny because I have not had anything bad happen to me yet. Knock on wood. I haven't had one person be negative towards me. I haven't had one person be negative towards my music yet. Wow. I haven't had one person do. Honestly, I haven't. The worst thing is just maybe the odd girl's a little bit too grabby, but rather than that, everything's great.
Yeah, but when you're like 6'5" and you look like a linebacker, I can't imagine anybody's gonna want to get too stupid.
Yeah.
No, you know, and even the guys who come out to the show, everybody loves it. Like they all come up to me and they go, "Man, that was the best thing. I loved it, this and that," and it's amazing. Like I said, I always make time for everybody, so I always like to hear the feedback.
That's awesome. So, where can people find your stuff if they want to check you out, like our listeners?
Oh, just you know what? Even I have Instagram right now. I have Facebook, and if you type me in on Google, there's a whole thing where it just says all the stuff about me and stuff like that. And there's stuff on the Global Morning Show. There's videos of me on ET. There's a lyric video of my debut single, and definitely in the next 4 months here, there's going to be a lot. Or the next 5 months, I'm going to be trying to push out 2 new singles, and that's like a big goal of mine. And then at the end of that 5 months, my EP will be coming out, so everybody can finally get a chance to hear it.
So like iTunes, Spotify, that kind of stuff, Apple Music.
iTunes, Spotify,
Google Music.
Apple Music. Yep, Amazon, everything.
Awesome, man. And so people can be kind of looking forward to you planning in the new year a radio tour in cross Canada kind of thing?
Oh yeah, radio tour, and then I'm ready for next summer just to just play a lot of shows and really make that my year, and hopefully 2020 is year. Hopefully I get onto the radio. So that's like a big goal for me, and it's so hard to make it on the radio because, like I said, for every 5 songs played, the 2 have to be Canadian country music. And the thing is when you're playing 5 songs, they're sitting there looking at, okay, so we got someone as big as Tim Hicks or someone as big as Aaron Burchett. Why are we not going to play Tim Hicks? Why would we play you over Tim Hicks? What do you got to offer that can hold up your own against somebody like Tim Hicks?
And not just that you're a Canadian.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to make it in Canada. It's the hardest thing, and I mean it's even worse in the States. You go over to the States, it's even worse. Everybody is fighting for the same thing, and everybody's just looking to eat. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's just it's so competitive. I picked potentially the hardest industry to do, but you know what? So far, everything's been going fantastic. I'm doing everything right now, and I still got a lot to learn on the way. But I feel like right now, for what I'm trying to accomplish, I'm doing just fine.
But at least you can say too, though, that like country fans tend to be pretty steadfast and true. Like if they like country, they like it. It's not just kind of, well, I like it today, but not tomorrow kind of thing. Like if you're country, yeah.
If you're a country fan, you say, that's your roots. And
yeah.
You know what? There's a lot of, that's what it is. If you go all over Instagram, you'll see, I'm a country girl through and through. I'm a country boy through and through. And yeah, true country fans. I love them.
So I know you're taking this weekend off, but so Monday when you go to write a song, operators are awesome. That's a good one. Get out of the way of my equipment.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I like it. No, that's pretty good. That's a hit right there.
Yeah.
That's a banger on the radio. That's a banger.
PPE can kiss my ass.
We just gotta sit down and work out royalties now.
Yeah.
Are we splitting that 50-50?
No. I'll just take a hat. I'm good with a hat.
Yeah, I want a hat too, man.
That's the other thing. Your merch, if they want to get their hands on that, is that just stuff that you have at your events, or is that online as well?
Yeah. So right now I only have stuff that's available at the events and stuff like that. I actually haven't released anything. I've just been so busy. My assistant every day they bug me about like, okay, we're gonna get our website up and going so people can buy merchandise. And I'm just like, and especially going to get merchandise done, it's just crazy because it's just a crazy process, because stuff can come out where you don't like it. And it was actually funny because I went and put in an order for hats, and the hats didn't come out the way that I wanted. So we ended up working out something where I still got the hats. And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do with these. And actually, they ended up being my favorite hat.
Dude, they're so comfy.
Just so you know, I'm a hat connoisseur, and the brand that you picked, the Classics, for your hats, that's like one of the top brands around that a lot of companies in Ontario use. Like that's a really good brand. You picked like a really good brand hat. Like that's top class.
Well, you know what it is, and like that's the one big thing. And I try to stay very, very humble, especially with this stuff too. I look at it like there's a lot of, for instance, I'm not going to name the name, but I went over and I'm a big fan of a certain artist, and I went and put in an order, and I want to say I paid $40 for the hat. This is like going back like 7 years, and finally it showed up, and it was like some cheap brand of a hat. And that really went. I went and put all this money out in a hat, and this is the type of brand of hat I got.
Yeah.
That made me go, and that's why. And I'm really big. It's the same thing where I go small venues to a concert. It's like, I'd like to meet you, and you're charging me $300 just for me to come and say, or $200 for me to come and say hi to you quick.
Yeah.
Like that's and there's a lot of stuff where I don't agree with, and. Don't get me wrong. When you're going over and you're performing somewhere at a Budweiser stage where you got just say 2 to 5, 6, 7, 8,000 fans out there. I totally understand you're not going to be able to do a meet and greet and give everybody that time. And I totally understand that. But when you do only have small venues or you do have stuff, you got to give people quality. You got to give people time, and that's the big thing. Especially the new era hats. Those are some big hats I try to push for too, because I know they're a good quality hat.
Yeah.
And even though I'm going to take a little bit of a cut from that, I know at the end of the day that person's getting something that they're getting what they're paying for. They're getting a nice hat, and I'm not going to charge $40, especially in this stage of my career. I'm going to charge them a very reasonable price, $25, and I'm not really looking to even make money off the merchandise. It's advertising for me too. So as long as I do, make a couple bucks here and there, and people are actually wearing something with my name on it, that's worth the money right there.
Yeah, I want that hat just because it looks so cool. Ernie's wearing a hat right
now.
Yeah.
I have like 4 different styles now, so I'll have to send you a couple pictures on which ones.
I'll send you some cash. I want to support you, man. I want to support what you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, we have so many different styles and everything like that. Now I'm trying to get T-shirts made up, but it's just it's so hard to design a T-shirt because now everybody's looking at me to design them, and I don't know. So that's why I usually just hire people to do that, because I don't know what looks good. I'm denim on denim. I don't know what looks good. I throw on.
See, there you go. There you need a denim hat. Denim hat. Done deal.
No, I don't think so.
Exactly.
Don't do the denim hat.
See?
I have a very simple look. I wear just jeans, a jean jacket with a black or white V-neck underneath, and I wear a backwards hat. That's my look.
That's rad.
And it's funny because I have like 7. I have only one style pair of pants I actually like, but I have 8 pairs of that exact same.
I'm the exact same way. That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I found one pair of pants that I really liked. And literally I went out and bought 8 pairs of them, had them delivered.
Yep.
And then I didn't even open them, but I had like 6 pairs just sitting on a thing in the bag. So I'm like, okay, I'll open up 3 more, but then I'll order another 3 just in case.
Yep. I think I'm the exact same way. I think guys are easier that way. Like I'm finding out with my wife too. She's like, how do you find it so easy just to find clothes and just order everything? I'm like, it's the same thing. You just order the same thing and you like it. And you just buy like 8 of them, like you just said. Like keep it
hard.
simple.
Yeah. It's hard with sizes though, because you don't know like if you're getting like American, if you don't know if you're getting.
The size.
Honestly, that's like the worst. That is the worst. I went over and I really wanted to rock that leather jacket look, and I think the universe is telling me not to do the leather jacket look because I went over. I went, okay, this is my first time ordering clothes online. And online, and literally it comes here and it doesn't even fit.
Oh jeez.
And it was like a really expensive leather jacket too.
Oh.
And so when I asked what the return policy is, and they said return on what? You can't return the leather jacket. I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess I'll just have to slim down a little bit, or not work out so much, or I don't know.
Oh man. So again, people can find your stuff on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and you're coming out with a new album and your EP in like January, February.
And that's all.
Yeah, around there. Yeah.
And that's all stuff that you would advertise on Instagram, you're saying?
Oh yeah. I usually update people pretty well on the Instagram there, so I got the assistant who's always on me to keep everything updated, so everybody knows what's going on.
And then maybe just shoot us a text that just so we don't forget when it was coming out, and we'll even I'd be happy to promote it.
Yeah, man. We always promote everybody that we bring on. I try to keep up, so I do the Instagram for the podcast, and whenever I see something new for one of a guest that we always have, I'll try to promote it. I won't even sometimes I don't ask. I just do it just because we like to just support people that come on and talk to us, because we just like hanging out and having a good time. This is just fun for us. Like this is our thing too. So
yeah, man, for sure. Oh yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. It's cool. You guys are my first podcast, so I appreciate you. Being the first one.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it.
Nice.
Well, thanks for coming on, Dylan. We hope all the best for you. Have a good weekend off and just spend some time with your family. But we'll talk soon, maybe in the new year. We'll talk maybe 6 months, see how things are going after your EP comes out, that kind of thing.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
That sounds perfect.
That's
Thank you so much for having me.
Dude, thanks so much. Thanks for giving us your time.
No problem.
Cheers, man.
Nice talking to you again, cuz.
Thank you so much.
All right, buddy.
We're brothers now.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. All right, buddy.
Cheers, man.